Dear students, I welcome you again. Today we are going to discuss about chapter 13, the IT professional. In this we have two sections. In 13.1, we are going to discuss about communication skills and the IT professional. Communication skills, troubleshooting and the IT professional. We are in the last part of the computer hardware, how the IT professional will behave with the customer and what are the skills he needed. The most important skills is the communication skills since they are dealing with the customer and they should know how to troubleshoot the PC. Here we are going to just tell how to establish the communication skills if they want to communicate with the customers. Here we have the key points to be noted. So they have to learn these key points, they have to know the key points. First point, listen to the customer and to learn the details of the problem. So you need to listen to the customer. What is this problem? What the customer is discussing, or what are the problems the customer is facing with the PC? And the second point, speak directly with the customer. So the customer only will be knowing all the problems he is faced. So it is better you can directly speak with the customer and try to gather all type of informations for the customer. It is very important that you have to present yourself professionally, keep your own emotions in check. So these are the key factors if you want to have a good communication skills. Follow these steps. When you work with a customer, you have to follow some of these steps although you have to follow some points. The first point here is determine the customer problem. How to determine the customer problem? Only when you listen actively to the customer problem, you will know what is the problem he is facing in his PC. When he is trying to explain the problem, don't stop him in between. That is, do not interrupt him. Let him explain whatever the problem he is facing in the PC. Let him explain all the problems and then you can interrupt or you can discuss with him. Understand the problem and ask the clarify as necessary. If you have not understood any problem what the customer is explaining to you, so you can ask him, so what is the problem and try to understand the problem. Next one, display professional behavior. You have to treat the customer with respect and prompt attention. So whenever the customer is coming to your shop or to you, you have to wish him and then you have to give proper attention to the customer. Know the proper procedure to put the customer on hold or transfer the call. Whenever the customer care or whenever you're calling to the customer care, so there are some circumstances that they will put your call on the hold. But before putting the customer on the hold, you have to know the procedures. Okay. So and then you can transfer a call. If you are not able to solve the problem, you can transfer the call to the higher authority or the higher supervisors. Explain how we can assist the customer. So you can just tell the steps, what are the steps you can do him or what are the steps you can follow to assist the customer. Always stay focused on the problem. Keep the communication focus on the customer issue. Whenever you are communicating with the customers, you are supposed to focus on the problem with the customer. Understand how to deal with different customer types. We may face different types of customers in a day-to-day life, like ladies, gents, girls, boys, or some other with they have a different types of problems. They may come out on different types of customers. So you should be able to know how to deal with different types of customers. Proper netquit. Practice good netquit when communicating online with the customer. So there is a possibility it is not directly with the customer. You have to support through the online also. Sometimes the customer will send the email. So you have to follow some good netquit when communicating online with the customer. Again, as an employee, what are the best practices we have to follow being an employee? These are the three things which you need to keep in mind. The first one is time and stress management. Observe SLAs. Follow business policy. What is the stress and time management? Since we are working in the environment, we have to follow the time and stress management. So we should be always follow the time. whenever the customer is coming, so we have to note down on when the date we are going to deliver the product and what time the service will be provided to the customer. Prioritize your activities by following the business policy. Each and every company, they may have their own policies. What is the durations of things? For example, if I want to apply for the Omantel, so they have the certain period of time when your applications will be scrutinized, and what are the things they need to follow up when they will come to your home and when they will give the connections for your Omantel thing. Compose yourself between customer calls. So whenever you're making a call to the customer, you have to compose yourself what you're going to talk with him, what is this problem. You have to know the history of the customer. Adjust your workstation to help to do your job. So we have so many things will be there when we are working with the customer. We have to, sometimes the problems will be there with the system, so you have to adjust your workstation, you have to know your keyboard, mouse, everything to do job with your customer. The second point is observe SLA. What is this SLA? It is a service level agreement between you and the customers. So whenever we are buying, the customer is buying some product, they will be having some service level agreement between the company and the client or the customer. So SLA defines an agreement between the interested parties. When dealing with customers, you need to observe the content of the SLA. Management determines the exceptions to the SLA. So always this SLA, it isn't just an agreement between the interested parties, between the customer and the company. Next one, we are going to discuss about the follow business policies. So since we are dealing with the product, we have to know what are the business policies are there. So it is very important to know what is the business policies or the things which is happening in the customer side as well as in the company side. We also working in the college and we have our own policies being the student and the staff. What are the policies given to the staff and what are the policies are there available for the student? Being the students, you're always allowed to follow those policies. Similarly, when we are dealing with customers, so we have to know what are the policies to be followed. First one, how to handle the customer call center activities, and ensuring customer satisfaction. So it should make sure that always at the end of the time, we should always satisfy the any customer. In this section, we will discuss about the ethical and legal issues in the industry. What is this ethical and legal issues in the IT industry? Since we are working in the IT company as well as the IT industry, we have to know some ethical policies or the legal issues. What are the laws are there in working with the IT industry? Ethical and legal considerations. Try to respect your customers, their equipment, and the intellectual properties. Whenever the customer buy any equipment, so you have to know how to handle the property, how to handle the equipment. We have some legal considerations. For examples, do not make any changes to the software and hardware configurations without the permissions. There are some points. For example, if our laptop or mobile or our PC got problem, so whenever we are going for some services, the technician has to ask the permissions whether they can change any equipment or anything they want to do with our devices. Do not access permission user accounts without permission. So it is not possible or you are not supposed to go into the user accounts without their permission. Do not violate the copyright laws. Always you should follow the copyright laws, whatever the laws are there for the copyright you are not supposed to violate. Do not use customers or IT resources without permissions. Whatever the resources are there for the customers, so the technicians are not allowed to use those resources. Coming to the licensing, we have different types of licensing: personal license, enterprise license, open source license, commercial license, and digital rights management. So these are the different types of license. What is meant by license? Whenever we buy some product, or some software. There will be a license for that, so you can utilize it for a certain period of time. Who can utilize, or what are the amount which you have to give for that licensing. Personal license. The program usually runs on only one machine. It is like our own personal purposes. We have this personal license. So whenever you buy the laptop, you want to buy your Kaspersky or antivirus or Microsoft product. So it will be given as your personal license where you can use it for your only one machines. Enterprise license. The company pays for the employees to use the software. When you go and work in a company, so you'll be using the software. All those software will be the enterprise's license where need not pay for it. The company will pay for the bulk amount of the products and they will be keep on using it. So such type of license is called as enterprise license. And next, we have the open source license. What is this open source license? This license allows developers to modify and source the share the codes. There are free softwares available which you can download and you can modify the content in that software. Like for example, Android, you can make some changes into the code and you can install your applications and for testing purposes. Such type of license is called as open source softwares. Even this Ubuntu, Linux operating systems, all these are open source license. Commercial license. Using this license to make money from the software. So there are some commercial purpose license where the people can make money with that software. Next, coming to digital rights management, the software is designed to prevent illegal access to digital content and devices. We have some softwares which will not allow you to make a copy of it, illegal access or digital content or and then devices. You cannot make a copy of it. Only once you can use it for your own purpose, the two by paying for that license, digital rights license. So that's all about the chapter 13. In chapter 13, we are just discuss about how you should have your communication skills when you're working with your client or the customer, how to improve your communications, or what are the steps or what are the factors that will you need to establish to have a good communication skills. What are the steps or what is the establishments you have to make to have a good communication skills? What are the key factors will be considered when working with the customer? Here we have some key points like determine customer problem, display professional behavior, stay focused and proper netquit. What are the employees best practices? Here we have the three best practices as being an employee. First one, you need to know how to manage your time and stress management, and how to observe your SLA, service level agreement, and follow business policies. In this section, we are going to discuss ethical and legal issues in the IT industries. What are the ethical and legal considerations are there, and what are the different types of licensing are there? Thank you, students.